Hello everyone, this is ACH AI Akaya and welcome to Wacky Wednesday #1. This is going to be the weekly VOD that I upload to my YouTube account, which basically is going to outline some zany, crazy strategies and how to pull them off or how to stop them. And I know that actually last time I announced this, I kind of said, hey, do rush strategies and cheesy rushes and builds and stuff like that. But I was thinking about it, and I would actually like to see some other kind of crazy out there strategies. Like I know recently Day9 did the carrier rush. Fun Day Monday, that's what it was. It was a Fun Day Monday. He told everybody, hey, do carrier rushes, send me the replays, blah, blah, blah. So I'm definitely down for stuff like that too. So be creative, get as creative as you can, whether it's a rush strategy or some kind of crazy carrier rush or something silly like that, or just I'm going to not do anything until I've built 3 bases type of stuff. So, but I'm very aware that most of the replays that are going to be submitted to me are probably just going to be early game rushes, which is actually what we're going to be taking a look at here today. This map is Blistering Sands, which is a 2-player map, and these guys are going to be facing off in a 1v1. This is a Protoss versus Protoss. We have Protector here down in the lower left, and the upper right, his red opponent, rather. Schwazy, I guess is how you say this. But anyways, what we are going to see is a double gateway proxy, which is very common in Protoss versus Protoss, especially on 2-player maps like this where you don't have to actually scout your opponent out. And for whatever reason, it seems like Protoss versus Protoss has more cheese in those mirror matchups than any other mirror matchup. So that's definitely something that players have to be aware of and deal with. And the players that are actually playing in this game, I believe, are a little bit lower. I think they're around Gold League. I can't remember. I looked them up a while ago and I totally forgot. But anyways, these are kind of mid, lower level players. So we're going to take a look at that. This is definitely something that a lot of people can learn something from. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and get this replay started here. And as you can see, both players going to just initially start off getting their workers, except for Protector, sending out a very early first probe. And typically this is something that you'll see a lot if somebody is going to try to do one of those cheesy rush strategies, is they will send out a very, very early probe, either one of their initial 6 or the very first probe that they build on 7. So that is definitely something to keep an eye out for. Now, the problem with this, of course, is sending a probe out that early actually amounts to a pretty significant amount of minerals by the time there are actually other units on the map. So if the rush strategy doesn't work, if you actually manage to stop someone doing a rush like that against you. Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I actually rewound it a little bit there. But anyways, what I was trying to say is that if you actually stop somebody that's trying to do one of those rush strategies, then you will actually get yourself a bit of an advantage, because they will be far behind economically, hopefully, if you manage to hold it off without actually letting them do a significant amount of damage. But anyways, here comes the probe. It's going to come right up into the red player's base. And there's one thing I want to highlight here right away. Okay, first of all, as we can see here, red can see blue's probe right now. He is 100%, or should be 100% aware that this blue probe is coming into his base, because look, he's got 1 pylon, he's got workers, he has nothing else going on right now. He is literally just building probes at this point in time, and this probe is walking right into his base, and it's very obviously, as you can see by the path here, going over to the left side of his base. So one of the things you can do if you're not actually able to keep an eye on multiple portions of the map at the same time, which especially when you get into the later to the mid game, that becomes more difficult, but keep an eye on this mini map here. As you can see on the mini map, especially since his opponent is blue here and there's kind of a brownish orangish tile set on this map, that blue sticks out like a sore thumb. So if you keep an eye on that mini map in the lower left hand corner, that will give you a very good idea of what's going on if you catch any of those little opponent blips moving across the map. And as you can see, he's going over here to build this blue pylon. He's actually building it in front of the line of sight blockers here. Some people opt to build them behind this line of sight blockers to actually kind of hide the buildings for a little bit. But red is actually sending a probe out to scout his opponent here. Now, one thing about checking that mini map constantly is Day9 actually had a video, a Day9 Daily a little while ago, about doing the little things like a mental checklist, like constantly saying, okay, what do I need to be doing? I need to be building probes. I'm checking the mini map. I'm building a pylon. I'm checking the mini map. And like mini map was one of the things that he was constantly doing. So you can just see how important it is. And as of right now, Shwazy is scouting out the base. He sees blue has nothing in his base, immediately sending out a probe to scout out this proxy. And I want to pause here for a second, because that is also something that's very good to do. If you spot that there is absolutely zero buildings inside your opponent's base, then that is generally a pretty good indicator that they are building some kind of a cheesy proxy rush strategy, which at that point, if you have not yet scouted in and around the near vicinity of your base, that is definitely something that you need to do immediately. And I know to some of you, this may be, duh, oh my gosh, how can he be saying this? But I'm aware that there are a lot of people that are still having problems dealing with these particular types of builds. But Shwazy is able to find it. So he's going to come over here and spot this. There's currently only one pylon that is going to be building these two gateways, basically, and this one probe is going to be able to stay alive. Now, one thing to note here is that Shwazy pulls off almost every one of his probes except for 3. And I want you guys to notice something here. Now, first of all, you see that these buildings wall off a little bit of this first pylon here. This means that not all of these probes can actually get surface area on that pylon. Now, there is a second pylon going down, so these probes are going to be able to come over here and focus down that pylon. But if your your opponent only builds one pylon, bringing this many probes is unnecessary because it kills your economy. If we take a look at the income tab right now, we can see that there is, despite the fact that blue has cut so many probes, he's actually ahead in the economy right now. He's 4 harvesters behind, but yet his income is about 300 minerals higher than the red Protoss because he pulled off so many of his probes right now. And rather than putting down another gateway or perhaps a forge to respond, because forges will allow you to get the cannons. Cannons are very, very strong against zealots, especially if you can put them behind a pylon or nexus and limit the amount of surface area that the zealots have to actually damage those cannons, then that is something that's very, very useful to do. So definitely, at this point, the two things that I would recommend as far as responses to this attack is A, getting another gateway, because if you see these two gateways, it's absolutely important beyond all comprehension that you get a second gateway up if you're going to try to keep up with the zealot production, because 2 gateways is obviously going to outproduce 1 gateway. It's just simple math. And the other option is to get that forge right away. And we actually saw a 1v1 Protoss versus Protoss in the GSL where Tester got blindsided by a double gateway zealot rush because the proxy was placed so well. The Xel'Naga Watchtower was just out of reach of scouting it. But he managed to get a forge up very quickly, and he microed the crap out of his zealots and was able to get a cannon up in time to help him defend. And he ultimately won that game because he got that cannon up and was able to hold off the rest of the zealots. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and hit play here again. Now notice these probes trying to focus down these pylons, and another pylon going down right now. That probe almost getting caught only has 5 HP, and it does get killed. So that probe was not controlled very well. If you are doing a strategy like this, keeping track of your probe, especially when you're losing your pylons, is a very, very big deal. Now, it looks like Shwazy is going to be able to take out these pylons. Now, once again, notice here he's got 5 probes, that are doing absolutely nothing while these other 6 probes just attack on this pylon. These 5 probes don't need to be down here. They could be up here helping attack this pylon, but they are much, much better served going back to the base in order to help him mine some more minerals, because he's obviously going to need them in order to hold off this incredibly fast rush. But instead they're sitting there. Actually, he is pulling them over